What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John at G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. And this is a ducktail. By the time I get to a barber. This is what we do. And the last Monday of every month, here I am. I go live to talk about the comments. And in case anyone jumps on, feel free to, ask me anything. I'm here to talk. So this has been a fast month. Wow, this month has gone by fast. But otherwise, it's been an interesting month. So why don't we just jump right into it? We'll work our way backwards. And there is one thing in particular. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. There's one thing in particular that we're going to deal with in a chunk. It's probably the best way to deal with it. All right. Tales from the Table, the Speaker and Dreams Part 0, The Gates of Brendanford. So, I've been doing these Tales of the Table now for over a year, going on 2 years now, where I talk about the table setup for the game that I'm running, how I set up the table, what I do, the products that I use, show you of how it looks. And the 20-sided warriors get to talk to you about their characters and the course of the adventure so far. So with this part 0, actually this is the first time for the new one that just started this month, Speaker in the Dreams. I'm actually divided it up into 2 different episodes. The third and the fourth Thursday of every month is an episode of Tales from the Table. And the first one, the third Thursday, is the behind the scenes, or behind the DM screen, where it's all just me telling you about the build in the game, what's going on, what I needed to do to change the module, things like that. And then the fourth Thursday, that's the one where we just concentrate on the 20-sided warriors, their characters, and what's been going on. So this just dropped. The past Thursday. Tales from the Table from May 23rd. Speaking of the Dreams Part 0, Gates of Brendanford, from Bjork 5178. Just posted this 1 day ago. Said love it. Thank you so much. Bjork, I've seen you here before, but I don't think I've seen a comment from you in a while, so welcome back, my friend, and if I'm wrong, welcome to the party. But yeah, Bjork, I've seen you around here before, so you like that. Yeah, nice, interesting build there. As I say in the video, I've never really had to do a big, huge, ongoing campaign-style city build before for a tabletop, so keep your eye out on this series. It's gonna go right up until Christmas time. We have all the episodes filmed already. We're a good 6 months ahead of schedule for filming Tales of the Table, because we meet 2 to 3 times a month to play, and I only air an episode once a month. Well, twice now that I'm doing behind the scenes, but it's the same episodes. It's 2-part, right? So that's how we're getting ahead of schedule. So yeah, going right up until Christmas time, man, you'll be checking out the Speaker in the Dreams. Another returning commentor here for a Midday Monologue. This is going back to February. A February episode of Midday Monologue where I talk about we're leaving Dungeons and Dragons, which we are. Now that we've finished off Speaker of the Dreams, and you'll see it for the next 6 months, then we're jumping into Werewolf the Apocalypse, 2nd edition. Set in 1990s New York City, baby. Where I live. I worked downtown for that whole decade. I worked in Alphabet City in the Lower East Side. I know the backdrop for this RPG. Yes, our old buddy Stephen Gilbert, 8166, says Star Frontiers. Yes! In that episode, I was talking about all the different possibilities of RPGs that we could get into, and some of the games that I feel like running. And yeah, Star Frontiers was one of those titles. I still have my original. I'm looking at it right now. I still have my original TSR Star Frontiers game. Now, if I did do that, though, Stephen, I'd probably mix it. You might not like hearing this, but I would probably end up mixing it with D20 Modern's D20 Future rules. That's how I probably end up doing that. But that's on the back burner for now. And to be quite honest, after this run of Werewolf, see, the way I've been doing it is there's so many games and not enough time, is that in between the modules that I'm running for a D&D campaign, we'll take a short break, 3, 4, 5 sessions, we play something else. And I'm pretty damn sure that I can't put off D20 Star Wars much longer. I'm really going to have to get that to the table. So that'll probably be the next interlude during our break on D&D. I mean, hey, it's not Star Frontiers. I hope you enjoy it, though, when we do get up to it. Hope you enjoy the upcoming Werewolf stuff, too. But hey, you got 6 more months of D&D. You're going to love this. You're going to absolutely love it. All right, Steven, you're back, and you are back with a vengeance, back with a passion, because you also made a comment on the previous, still back in February, the previous week's Midday Monologue, why we need to let Dungeons and Dragons die. And this was not a sarcastic episode. This was not a thumbnail clickbait. Anyone that watched the episode knows I'm completely serious in everything that I said. Stephen Gilbert, thank you. You said it, bro, right from the start. It's not us older folk who are getting pissed off at the whole D&D drama thing. We were there from the start. Hell, I was there in 1974, actually. For you, I joined you a couple years later in 77. Us older folk just get on with it. Edition wars, drama with the world of with the WotC. WotC to do this and to do that. Will they do this? Will they not do that? None of it touches us. It only seems to be the domain of the youngsters, sadly. He put a little sad face there. For me, the game will always be magical, fantastical, and immersive, no matter what game or rules I use to achieve the end result. Steven! Yeah, you and me. We're cut from pretty much the same cloth there. Yeah, you got it. You got it. You understood what I said. I think most, because when I look at the demographics for this channel, which I don't do a lot since I'm just here for fun. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to do this as a job. But when I do look at my demographics, everyone is in my, it's all the 45 to 55, 50 to 60. It's all within that realm. So obviously, just about every single person that watched that video of mine is probably like you and me, Stephen, probably in agreement. The companies, they want this drama to keep going because it's a form of, if nothing else, it's a form of cheap free advertising for them. And it keeps lining their pockets with the money they want. But yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it. You got enough PDFs and physical books that have been put out. They could never put out another D&D object, item, book, component again. And we'd still be able to play forever. Ever. Never. Yep, we would. Again with Steven all over the place. 2 comments. Two comments for our Pixie playthrough on the 19th of this month. D&D Wrath of Ashadlan solo level. In the video, you ask which adventure system adventure we would like to see you play next. The obvious answer is a scenario from each of the box sets going in order, so the next would be the Legend of Drizzt. But personally, I'd love to see something from Tomb of Annihilation or Ghosts of Saltmarsh. But not the town adventure, as I don't think that really represents the game very well. I personally love it when you play with a full complement of heroes, as this gives a lot more tactical options and enhances the thematic game tone play immensely. When playing solo, I always play with multiple characters. I know it makes it more complicated to run, but I truly think this gives a better D&D feel and captures the essence of the game more completely. And you also went with another comment to say simply more. That's your emphasis, not mine. So, in all honesty, and it's not that it's a secret. It's just, I say in all honesty because it's something that just hasn't been mentioned before. There's no need for it. But for a little behind the camera, behind the screen information, sometimes I will choose the number of characters or heroes that I'm running in the game based on how much time I have or can dedicate at a particular sitting. Because obviously a game like this, when I play solo, it does play a lot faster than if I'm trying to run 4 or 5 of the heroes at the same time going through the dungeon. Yeah, so for camera-wise and off-camera when I play, sometimes it depends on how much time I have. I will run a solo, just one person, and other times I'll run 4 or 5. And it has its ups and downs. Like the 4 or 5, sometimes I get moving, and it's the same problem, I think. I get moving so fast that if I don't do something, and I've made this mistake in videos before, if I don't do something to physically mark that this hero has already acted, I will forget at sometimes because action, things have been happening so fast. Bing, bang, boom. You get into that flow, you get into that rhythm. And it also happens in the solo mode. But I think that because you're playing the solo mode, it's not quite as bad than losing place in an initiative round with heroes. But yeah, you can get into the flow of it so much that you're going to miss things, forget things, do things wrong, incorrectly. Like the last game, was for the Wrath of Ashadlan game I was playing. One of the viewers that was watching at the time had to remind me like 2 or 3 times, pick up treasure. Because sometimes I defeat the monster and I'm so into the pattern that I just want to keep moving, keep going, grind through. That's I think a good word for it. I just want to grind. I want to. I'm feeling it. I just want to get in there, get my nails dirty, bloody my knuckles a little bit, just grind my way through the game and the level. And I forget sometimes. So it has its ups and its downs. But Stephen, I'm so glad that you have enjoyed that. I'm not sure if you're a Hero Quest fan, but I just finished a completely huge run of the core game and Keller's Keep. I'm going to be going back to that at some point too. But we have a new unboxing coming out for a game that's been sitting on my shelf for a while that I'm finally getting an unboxing for. And that's a big game I like to play on some Pixie playthroughs also. So that's the thing, too many games, not enough time, right, Steven? You know this. But I have noticed that the last month, a month and a half, I've really put up a lot more D&D videos because we're doing a lot more D&D stuff, a lot more RPG stuff. So I'm just incorporating that organically, into what I'm doing here on the channel. But that has been, I think, what's really been getting us more subscribers and more viewers. I think there are more individuals out there that care more about watching videos on RPGs right now than watching videos on Imperial Assault or Role Player or Marvel Champions. Maybe it's because there's more people involved. Maybe it's just because D&D and RPGs just have a cooler mystique to them. What are you doing? I'm watching someone play D&D as opposed to what are you doing? I'm watching someone play Monopoly. Hear the difference? I get it. So maybe that's why we've been having more. But there are going to be more. I have to change out some of the Saturday playthroughs out of D&D, but there's still going to be a lot of D&D and RPG stuff coming up. Like I've been saying, we just finished the run of the current D&D module, so we're moving into Werewolf the Apocalypse. So that's going to be 5 runs, maybe 5 sessions, 4 or 5. So you can see videos on that. Yeah, so we'll change it up a little bit. I hope you enjoy those videos as well. Big Johnny G. Oh, this is another one going back last year, almost a year ago, June 8th of 23. Big Johnny G's How to Play Don't Talk to Strangers. And this is from Alicia Story 9345. Simply said, thanks, with 2 exclamation points. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I get a lot of good buzz. I get a lot of good hits on my how to play videos. And as I've said in the past, unfortunately, I feel that so many other people do better how to play videos than mine. I don't want to waste someone's time. But every now and then there's something out that either I don't find a lot on, or I just really feel the bug about making a video about how to play a particular game. So I'm glad you enjoyed that, Alicia. I'm glad that helped. It really is a fun game. Don't talk to strangers. I'm hoping to get a few more games in that series. The Stephen Rhodes series of games, they all look great and hysterical. Now, here we go. And this is from our main man, Kai. If you watch Tales from the Table, you know who I'm talking about. So Kyle Terry 6993 made a comment for our 2GP D&D quote, "The Bard, the lament for tooth, fate of the frozen." He says, "Truly incomparable, Giacomo. Here's to tooth." And he has a big heart right in the middle of that statement. A little backstory here. Kai runs his own group besides gaming in my group. He's a game master DM, and he has his own group. And one of the players in his group, playing a kobold bard named Tooth, had recently died while they were facing off against a white dragon. And he was telling me how the party members were having a funeral service for the character and everything. I thought, hey, that's cool. Tell me a little bit about the guy, how he died, and Giacomo will write up a poem for him. And I'm very glad. Kyle did appreciate that. Cool beans. And going back to a statement I said just before this one, I mentioned Hero Quest. Well, here's a comment from Cole Billington, Midday Monologue from the 20th of this month. Hero Quest, the quest list guide for 2024. And this is exactly what it is. It's a quest list guide. I just put up what the official, unofficial order is. If you have everything, if you are a completionist with Hero Quest as I am, you might want to know, is there an order to play them in? Kinda, sorta there is. It's officially unofficial, and I go through it in that video. And I was wearing simply my an old hero. Actually, it isn't old. It was just faded to make it look old and beat up. But my Hero Quest shirt. That's all very cool. And that's what he says. Way cool shirt. Keep the faith. There's a thumbs up there. Thank you very much, Carl Billington. And from Michelle H, 8268, Pixie playthrough D&D Wrath of Ashadalon solo level. Keep sharing these D&D games. So simple, so fun, and thematic race to the end. And boy, do they ramp up. They do. They are. They're fun games to play. And obviously, from some of the comments I've gotten, they're fun games to watch as well. And I do try to put a little bit into it, so it's not just like watching a chess match. And going back to our buddy who also liked this video, made a comment earlier, Stephen Gilbert, 8166, for our Pixie playthrough of Dungeons and Dragons Castle Ravenloft. He said, yes! More of these D&D Adventure System board games. You make them live, bro! And those emphases on him, not me. I have a big old smiley face at the end there. Thank you so much, Stephen. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think more people are just interested in more of the RPG stuff that me and the 20-Sided Warriors are doing as opposed to the board game stuff. So I got no problem. With generating the D&D RPG experience already, so I don't mind putting more of it up on the channel. All right, and next comment we're going to hold off on. We're going to hold off to the end till we get to the Am I the Asshole comments for this month, because that got a little heated. And so many individuals are just simply wrong. So I'm going to save that for the end. Tales from the Tablespoon and the Dreams, Part 0 from John Longren. If you don't know who John Longren is, shame on you. That's all right. Now, him and his buddy Sean Cahill, they run Fallen Dominion Studios and have a massively awesome game that you've seen here on the channel before. We've talked about it on the channel before. There's been playthroughs on the channel here before. And that's their post-apocalyptic epic called Fallen Land. Watching our channel quite often as he does, he saw the Speaker of the Dreams build and he said, from one John to another, that's badass. Really, you got to go check out my Tales from the Table episodes, especially for the builds. Thank you, John. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I spent over a week building that for the gang, for me, for all of you that watch the videos, for fun. I put a lot of time and effort into it. So thank you so much, John. Am I the Asshole? This is going to be fun when we get to that. Watson the Pixies box Derek Huang production. So RJ82, RJ said it's. I'm trying to be nice here. It's everyone's like, well, you weren't during the Am I the Asshole? RJ82 says it's like an AI art prompt threw up inside the box. Okay. Please, one moment here. Please. That was not a final copy. It wasn't a final copy of the game. It is for review purposes, for reviewers. It is the non-final version of the game. Yeah, as someone that works with AI art, I'm not sure what program Derek Huang and his production company were using to create the art for this game, but I'm not sure if it was just a little substandard in general, or if it was a little lazy on their editing, and they just got a little tired, because the one thing I've noticed with AI art is the amount of times that I have to describe and re-describe the image that I've already created in my head, the image that's here, that's living right here, that I can see in color, in detail, and I need to get the AI art program to bring that out. So I understand it is time consuming. Sometimes you can spend hours just trying to get that one picture to look like the way you've already created it up here. So maybe they just got a little tired, a little bored, a little lazy about it. But yeah, look, the game plays well. It's a fun tic-tac-toe version of a game using cute, combat kitties. Let's just see what the final product looks like before we completely decide to make a judgment call. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, RJ. I'm not saying that. Tabletop Takeout, Dungeons and Dragons Fantasy Adventure board game again. I think you are slowly taking Shogunstein's spot as the number one commenter here. Tabletop Takeout, Dungeons and Dragons Fantasy Adventure board game for the 14th of this month. Stephen Gilbert said, I love this game and was massively happy to see that you covered it on your channel. You know why? Because it's the best. I'm not saying arguably the best. It is the best ever made, produced Dungeons and Dragons board game that's ever been put out on the market. Yes, there's more stuff for the cooperative adventure system, a lot more stuff, but it's not as good a board game translation. The game has its own AI built into the cards and decks. Where's the DM? Well, fantasy board game has a DM. It has everything set up. It is 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons in a board game. This is before they came out with the 3.5 miniature handbook to set up the whole miniature skirmish stuff in D&D. You had the fantasy adventure board game by Parker Brothers. The problem was it was pretty much only sold over in England, or at least the western side of Europe over there. If it wasn't only in England, it was in that little tiny area. That's it. You couldn't get it anywhere else. Missed out on a huge market here in America. Massively missed out on lining their pockets with American money. And also, hey, it's nice that they came out with 2 expansions for the fantasy adventure board game. I wish there had been more, though. One thing that all of these games, because the fantasy adventure board game, the 2 expansions, one of them introduces the barbarian and the other introduces the druid. Nice. Excellent. 2 classic characters going back to AD&D. And we see this a lot of the same thing in the, I'm looking at them right now. I just said it several times, the cooperative adventure system. But every single D&D version of a board game always falls short. Like, I haven't seen one ever that has a monk. Where's there a monk in the adventure system? Where's the monk in the fantasy board game? I don't know. Where's the illusionist? Oh, John, they have wizards. That's not what I said. So, there are things that they fall flat on their face on. Every version of a D&D board game. But I got to say, 95% of D&D RPG is what you're going to get in the Fantasy Adventure board game by Parker Brothers. It's out of print. I'm sorry. It's going to cost you, a few bucks. It's going to cost you a little scratch to go find on eBay. Maybe some seller on Amazon or something, or I don't know. Take a look. But the game and the 2 expansions, 100% worth it. 100%. And the replayability is out the window because it's a D&D game. You can run the adventures there or write your own. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Stephen Gilbert, you're 100% right. This is a massively awesome game. More people need to talk about it. But unfortunately, most board game influencers, talkers, people that have a social media channel, all they're going to talk about is what's new. What's new. Maybe every once in a while they do a retro episode. They think they're special because of that. I just talk about whatever the hell's hot. I don't care if it's new or not. And this game needed to be talked about. So thank you for agreeing. Pixie Playthrough, April 20th. Paw of Duty, Big Giant G and the 20-Sided Warriors. And this is from Derek Huang, the creator of the game. Nice. A great first playthrough. Just quick clarification about the kitty units. If you deploy a kitty unit that has 3 action lines at the top right, that means you can only play a total of 3 tactic cards this turn on any applicable units that you have out on the board. So a beefy level 5 kitty unit could theoretically take up to 5 actions on your turn if, on a later turn, you then deploy a friendly level 1 unit that has 5 action lines in the top right. I hope this makes sense. It kind of does. I think me and Ron are going to have to give another playthrough of it, keeping this rule in mind. But Derek Wang, he sent us a game to do videos on. It happens very rarely, so I always like to bring it up when that does happen. So thank you very much on that and clarifying that in the rules for us. Midday Monologue, introducing Star Wars Champions, the card game. Here we go. I just mentioned you, the Shogunstein. He says, I remember waiting at the Meadowbrooks Theater in East Meadow for the original films. Who would have thought that in 2024 we would still be talking and playing Star Wars? This is why I love being Generation X. My favorite meme that I've seen about Generation X has a picture from the Breakfast Club of Judd looking all tough with a cigarette, and it says Generation X, the only generation born 30 years old and in their 50s are still 30 years old. I really do feel like that sums it up. Our generation we were more than just the latchkey kid generation. We were what I call the light switch generation. No one, as far as I know, this is something I made up. Nobody uses this phrase. And what I mean by the light switch generation is there we were, unsupervised, from the time school got out, about 3-ish, right, until the time our parents got home from work, which was maybe 5, 6 o'clock. And then we would eat about 7, let's say. All we knew is when the street lights came on, which is the old phrase, but, different times of the year, it's a different time. But, yeah, so around 6, 7 o'clock, we all just go home. But between that time, it was like Lord of the Flies. Oh, it was South Park meets Lord of the Flies. Back in the 70s here in New York City, at least, when it comes to Gen X, when we were growing up. But I call us the light switch generation because although we were wild kids, if something happened, if something bad happened, like your buddy Sean falls down and breaks his leg, everything stops. One of the kids, usually the oldest / and or the biggest, so a lot of times it was me, but not always, thankfully, the oldest, biggest kid then had to flick the light switch from kid to adult. And you had to adult until an actual adult got there to handle the situation. And then as soon as you weren't needed to play the role of an adult, hit that light switch again, and you're back to playing the role of being a fun-loving, wild-ass, stupid kid. Those were fun times, Generation X, we had growing up. Never going to be another time like it again. We're blessed. Totally blessed. Best Saturdays in the world. Friday Night Fillers for Dungeon. doing a hunted version of it. Grandpa's Game Point. Grandpa's Game Point says, good times, amazing die rolling. Wish my solo runs went that smooth. Well, Grandpa's Game Point, why don't you go watch the last video that I tried a solo run of Dungeon and see how horrible that went. From shitty die rolls to maybe not making the best decisions on where to go at the right and wrong times. Yeah, the one I just played that you commented on now, that was a lucky break, that game. Whew, I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. Because, Dungeon is a game that I think a lot of people pass up because they think of it just as a simplified kiddie version of D&D, which it may be now, but it wasn't originally when it came out. It was just a fantasy board game put out by TSR, the same company that did Dungeons & Dragons. It wasn't a Dungeons & Dragons board game per se necessarily. It has become over the years. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it can be soloed. I don't think a lot of people know that. So thank you. Thank you for enjoying the video and spending a little of your time watching it. For Gaming Radar, Dungeons & Dragons Onslaught from the 2nd of this month. A nice video. Buy the Grasp of the Mind Flayer expansion and make a video. That was from Bomb Jelly 5795. Well, Bomb Jelly, that's a Gaming Radar. It means it's on my radar. Ain't on my shelf, ain't on my table, hasn't been played. I'll tell you what, I'll go in with you. If you buy Two Gun Pixie, a copy of Dungeons & Dragons Onslaught, I will spend the money to get the Mind Flayer expansion. And with the two products, I'll make a video. And it doesn't have to be you. Anybody watching this video, if you decide that's a cool idea, then I'll do that. But it's on my radar. It's not on my shelf. I can't make a video of it right now. And it's not really part of my financial plan to get at the moment. But yeah, if anyone out there wants to send me a copy of Dungeons & Dragons Onslaught, I'll get the Mind Flayer expansion myself with my own money, and we'll make some videos. That's a promise. Monday Monologue. Oh, we have made it all the way back to the Midday Monologue. This exact video I did for last month, for April. And it's all the Shogun's theme. AI art is the cause of the week for board game social media. Next week, they'll be back at Ukraine or Gaza. Shogun's theme pipes in, I'm 51. And he says, sorry for your gloss. Glad to see you making some content today. Yeah, I'd lost a sister last month. At the end of last month, I kind of threw things over kilter for a little while. So thank you. Thank you very much for that, Shogun Stan. Now. Oh boy. Let us go check out what you've been waiting for. Let's go through all the comments. Here we go. So, am I the asshole? I've done 2 already. The 2 solo ones, and in between then, me and Ron. Those have dropped already. This is my most recent one I did by myself. Am I the asshole? Dungeons & Dragons edition, May 16th. I am your god. That's the name of that I gave it. A little clickbaity, but also honest. So let's go down the list. I think I'll just read them all first. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read them all first, and then I'll explain why a comment may be correct or incorrect. Ooh, we got a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from Weaver DC 292. I understand both sides. However, this is a matter of the other players at the table being perfectly okay with the religious member constantly compromising and making sacrifices while not reciprocating the same amount of care. Yeah, it's just D&D. It's just fantasy and fiction. But it doesn't change the fact that the original poster literally cannot speak the name. Them forcing the OP to is toxic table as fuck. They don't have to change it, but they can do a nickname or something and get over it themselves. And frankly, if I knew someone was religious like that, I'd have a totally fine campaign with that. The only reason that I'd do something like this would be to get under their skin or try to push them out. There's no scenario where this is not done intentionally. As I said, I'm going to go through each of these, and then I'll talk. Draconis Worm. If you're of the belief that you don't care about people saying Yahweh, then it's weird for you to demand someone to change their character's name. Maybe they're doing something with it since those words mean something and they come from Yah and Way. And maybe that something could be cool in a story like irony or whatever. However, it's really fucking dumb for anyone else to demand that you say Yahweh if you don't want to do it for the reasons you gave. You should be completely able to say Ted's character above table with the understanding that in character, your character is not actually saying that. It'd be different if the name were a slur. That'd be a blanket no and require the name change. But yeah, dude here is being kind of rough. No, the OP should not have to say the name. No, OP can't demand to change the name. What OP did to get around it was reasonable, and their friends are being dicks, especially knowing one of their friends has a problem. Impler Jr. It would cost practically nothing for Ted to acquiesce to the request at the table should have been more respectful that their friend was upset. In most situations where there's an issue in a tabletop group, the solutions are talk it out, find a solution as a group, or find new friends. The AITA poster is not in the wrong here, and unfortunately the solution is likely that he needs to find friends who are willing to make concessions for their friend and fellow hobbyist. It's not that hard. It's one of the easiest lessons that I've learned as an adult. Be kind. Curtis Dorn, 5176, says, well, you forgot that as names go, the one you use the least is your own. And you read the part where everyone else rolled their eyes when they refused to blaspheme. So you are, in fact, the asshole because there is a lack of respect on Ted's part that you can't see it. And just remember, the only thing for sure that doesn't exist is the D&D characters. They're made up. And it may be a fantasy game, but real people play it out. And you got 100%, and you are 100% wrong, my guy. Cute. X variable 1521. So let me get this straight. We have a player who has a strong personal belief and tries to be respectful of others. He has found himself in a group that trying to force him to violate his beliefs. In this case, saying his God's name in vain. Done so by having a character with that name, who, by the process of role-playing, would normally be acknowledged by his name. He has expressed discomfort through asking the name be changed and has gotten pushback from the entire group. This is a group that he has played with before. Not only do I doubt the group was ignorant of the player's beliefs, I suspect the character was specifically named such to antagonize the player. Conceit and trust is an important part of a collaborative game. The entire group violated his trust and is trying to have him violate his beliefs. In addition to do that, the likelihood of him being able to immerse himself in the game is now ruined because he is being asked to violate something core to himself. I am not a religious person. Having grown up Roman Catholic, I have my umbrage with many of the churches and many religions, but I do not attack religious people unless I have found that a good faith discussion is not possible and retreat is difficult or unlikely. I may have personal differences between myself and the person in question, but I don't believe that he is an asshole in this scenario. No D&D is better than bad D&D. If they have had discussed with him already that his beliefs are a problem at the table and he refused to correct them, then they should have removed him from the game. Unfortunately, we do not have this context. Regardless, there are way more civil ways to remove him from the game. That said, I don't entirely believe the point was to drive him from the game. Naming a character something that would violate someone else's sensibility to torment them is something I would have done at one point in my life. And I am a self-admitted asshole. It is easy to see religious people as aggressors these days. So many of them are hypocritical piles of garbage. That does not mean that all of them are that way. or that them expressing grievance among them be wrong. Unless more information comes out, I believe that in this case he is not the asshole, but the people at the table are. Kyle Turry, 6993. I worship Norse gods, and none of my gods would give a damn about a D&D character being named after one of them. Even if somebody named their bard Thor and was nothing like the god at all. You said it best. It's D&D. It's a game. Also, in role-playing, this person could have used nicknames for Ted or said something like, my friend, in the in-game conversations. This person was just trying to make a fuss at the table, and that sucks. So those are the comments that came through with this. My pigeon story says, who are you? Me, personally? Why, I'm the guy hosting this channel, Big Johnny G. Been doing this for over 6 years now. Welcome to the show. That's who I am. The only really 100% correct statement here, obviously, is the last one from another religious point of view. Okay? Somebody that worships gods and is like, this is ridiculous that you think your God would actually even give a shit about it. It's a game. Get over it. So from one myth, because I'm sorry, that's all your religion is, OP, is a myth. Your myth is important to you, but what everyone here is forgetting, what every single person other than Kyle, it seems, has forgotten, is what the original OP said. Okay? So let's go over this again. In the first paragraph, the end of the first paragraph, literally said, although this is the OP writing, although I do not use the Lord's name in vain, I don't care if other people do. Yeah, that's it. You expecting anything else? So right there, this original poster said that they don't care if someone uses the Lord's name in vain. They themselves are not the kind of person to do it, but they don't care if other people do it. So now let's put this in the context of this person's myth, this person's mythological religious beliefs. Okay? Here they are saying that they don't care if someone else uses the Lord's name in vain regularly or not. That's what they said. They don't care. And then it happens. And they immediately flip the fuck out. If you want to put this in a religious viewpoint, this individual made a statement before God saying that I am okay with other people using the Lord's name in vain, but I myself am not going to do it. Made this statement. You want to put this in their religious belief as if it is true and not a myth? Okay, so they say this. They make this statement in front of their God, their being, their deity of worship. And then their God puts them to the test. That's exactly what happened. So then their God puts them to the test by having this Ted guy make a character he names Yahweh to see how this person is going to react. How the OP is the OP going to do what they say? Are they going to be honest? Or are they going to be a little wussy about it? And the OP failed. The OP failed the test put in front of the OP by the OP's deity. And now the OP wants to blame everyone else around them. Oh, it's not my fault. It's their fault. How dare they go ahead and do something that I said is already 100% okay? How dare they do that? That, my friend, is called a hypocrite. A hypocrite is never to be believed. A hypocrite is one of the lowest forms of filth on this planet. And being a hypocrite means that nothing else that you say moving forward can easily be believed. So the OP is, by their own omission, in the beginning of the whole statement, is nothing but a hypocrite. So everything else that everyone says here, everything else that Weaver DC, Draconis Worm, Gimp, Impler, Curtis Dorn, X Variables, you're all pointless. Everything that you guys had to say in the comments means absolutely positively nothing because you are defending a lying hypocrite piece of shit. They were put up to the test and they failed. And now you all want to support them? No. No, this OP is a worthless POS. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who's just trying to be a dick. Now, one thing I do want to point out, though, in all honesty, is we don't know the backstory. And personally, having grown up, as you yourself said, who was X variable, I think, having grown up Roman Catholic, okay, I have had and heard my share of religious assholes. So, with no backstory about the OP, and it's all from the OP's point of view, also, by the way. The person that's crying martyr is the only point of view that we have of this story, and nobody is sus about that. You all just want to be your little keyboard warriors. Oh, someone's belief was insulted. I've got to go tell the world that they are innocent and everyone else in the world is guilty. Really? That's what makes you little insignificant peons happy? Okay. Sure, we all have to have a hobby. That's all it is. It's just a little hobby with your straight thoughts that you're having. No, you just want to jump on the bandwagon to protect somebody who is, by their own admission, okay, a lying hypocrite. So, and as far as the whole, oh, well, what did you expect the person to say in-game, in character? Well, if they're in character, okay, you unimaginative mooks. If they are in character, then instead of, you don't want to say the character's name is Yahweh because of your personal mythology, that's fine. But you don't have to be a dick to the point where you just constantly go, Ted's character, myself, the elf, the warlock, and Ted's character need a place to stay tonight. How much will that be, my friend? No, don't be now that is a fucking dick. No, what you say is the tiefling and sorcerer and warrior and our companion need a room for the night. If you're doing everything in game and you're trying to keep it all alive and the atmosphere going, that's what you do. Don't be a dick. Oh, everyone here, and Ted's character, because I won't say Ted's character's name. Well, what is Ted? Is Ted an elf? Call him an elf. Is he a fighter? Call him a fighter. Don't be a dick. It's because you made a religious statement from your mythology and you immediately got proven wrong. Stupid. How the hell were you raised? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is even a question. Unbelievable. This is a question that gets re-questioned. The OP. If mathematically they could be more than 100% the asshole, they would so be whatever the highest percent is possible in the universe, or any universe, in any reality, ever, anywhere. One of the worst offenders of being an asshole I've ever encountered, because you're hiding behind the skirt of your mythology. Get over it. And remember, when you're dealing with a game and you have your head and your mentality in game, remember that the religions in game are real because their gods walk the fucking earth. Okay? You got to get over that too. That's going to be another episode. So I've already seen another Am I the Asshole that deals with religion? And that'll be another hot topic around here. Thank God I'm not monetized and I don't care about being monetized, huh? One of the good things about having a hobby. All right, so assholes and non-assholes. There you go. There is this month's viewer comment. We'll see what this generates personally. I don't care if you agree with me or not. All right, I'm your buddy Big John at G, but Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am